Guy's boy Benny. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, and the Democrat Party is filled with old dogs, if you know what I mean. Here's one of them from this morning. Somebody named Gina Raimondo, who works for Joe Biden right now in a high-level cabinet position, saying that Donald Trump needs to be eliminated.
Is the opposite. It's just another lie. Like, how did we get here? Let's extinguish him for good. We have an answer. We have a remarkably talented candidate.
Donald Trump needs to be extinguished for good. This, of course, on the heels of Donald Trump learning that there are multiple assassination teams that are hunting him right now and trying to kill him. Trump briefed on real and specific threats from Iran to assassinate him. Campaign says this matches our reporting that says that Pakistani and Ukrainian teams are also trying to hunt President Trump and kill him. President Trump remarking yesterday that he has been briefed by the Director of National Intelligence regarding real and specific threats from Iran to assassinate him in an effort to destabilize and sow chaos in the United States. Intelligence officials have identified these continued and coordinated attacks heightened in the past 2 months. Law enforcement officials across the agencies are working to ensure that President Trump is protected and the election is free from interference. Do you believe that? Do you believe that? That everyone's working really hard to protect President Trump? Here's a news report that dropped just a few minutes ago from the Homeland Security Subcommittee in the Senate. Secret Service agents made strange calls before Thomas Matthew Crooks attempted to assassinate Donald Trump. They left Trump on stage even though they knew a guy was standing there with a firearm pointing it at Donald Trump. What does that mean? They knew about Thomas Crooks with a gun on the rooftop for nearly half an hour before they let Trump get shot. Let's get a load of this. What's the mysterious call? Well, we've covered before on this program how there was no Overwatch. Overwatch being somebody who would be able to be on a high position and see what's going on. You need to know what's happening with either drone, unmanned aircraft, or being up on, like, let's say, the water tower and watching for potential threats. There's none of that. In fact, it turns out that the Secret Service drone operator had technical issues, wasn't able to get his drone up. Sounds like a personal problem. The agent responsible for overseeing the counter unmanned aircraft system called a toll-free 1-800 number tech support hotline that probably went to India to start troubleshooting with the company. There were no backups. So they had a drone, and the drone operator responsible had only 3 months of experience with the equipment and didn't know how to use it. Had to call support helplines. This is your Secret Service. This is the agency that takes billions of dollars a year. $3 billion a year to protect the president. The report Wednesday concluded that the failures ahead of the rally were foreseeable, preventable, and directly related to the events resulting in the assassination attempt that day. What have we said time and time again? We have said that gross incompetence is indistinguishable from malevolence. So it really doesn't matter where these people's hearts are or where their heads were. We don't need to be mind readers here. We don't need to be spiritual soothsayers where we can sense energy. We don't need to see it. We just need to see the actual structural failures and know that these people intended for Donald Trump to die. Because that is the result of that was the result of the report. 20-year-old now deceased shooter was able to hit Trump in the ear and was able to critically injure others and kill one of the attendees at Trump's rally. Crooks on top of the nearby building for a few hundred feet from where Trump was that day, crouched down with an AR-15 rifle. He was able to fire 8 rounds at Trump's direction at 150 yards. Former president was speaking. Those investigating the assassination attempt had repeatedly said drones should have been able to detect the shooter from the AGR building, the Butler Farm grounds. Congress is considering more funds for the U.S. Secret Service. But the Senate report also found that with additional resources, the Secret Service engaged in questionable activities that led to security failures that day. For example, U.S. Secret Service denied specific on-the-ground requests for additional drone capabilities. The U.S. Secret Service was notified 2 minutes before Crooks fired shots about an individual on the roof of the building with a firearm. You can see right here, the individual on the roof with the firearm. There you go. There's Crooks right there. Red circle. You can see him lunking and lurking about the top of the building. Why the hell didn't you pull Donald Trump off the building? This is obviously the time where you pull Donald Trump off the building. Democrats are still calling for Donald Trump to be eliminated forever. Incredible. Democrat Richard Blumenthal, who co-authored this report from his subcommittee, saying that Donald Trump, before this assassination attempt, which is one of many, was not briefed on the threats from foreign nations against him.
In this case, the Iranian threat was never communicated.
So it goes on to say that Thomas Crooks wasn't Iranian. We knew that, but we know nothing else effectively about Thomas Crooks. So how in the literal hell did the Secret Service allow, and this is the report itself. How and why did the Secret Service allow President Trump to stay on stage? Okay, bad people do bad things. I get it. You can't stop bad people from doing bad things. Here's Thomas Crooks. So, okay, jackass with a gun is lurking around with a rangefinder. Why would you let the president remain on stage? They were notified that police officers were in the building hunting someone who was a threat to Donald Trump for 27 minutes, and they let Trump stay on stage. They didn't secure the building. Incredible. Investigators found that there was no clear chain of command among Secret Service and other security agencies for a plan to cover the building when the shooter climbed up to fire the shots. Officials were operating on multiple separate radio channels, leading to the missed communications, and the inexperienced drone operator was stuck trying to help figure out how his equipment was working. He was literally on the call with technical support. A 1-800 number. Trump, of course, was hit by a bullet approximately 22 seconds before Crooks fired. The report found local officers sent a radio alert that there was an armed individual in the building. But that information was not relayed to the key Secret Service personnel who were interviewed by the Senate investigators. The panel also interviewed Secret Service counter sniper who said that they saw the officers with their guns drawn running towards the building where the shooter was. But the person said they did not know or notify Trump to get off stage. Why? The Senate report comes just days after Secret Service released a 5-page document summarizing the key conclusions of a yet-to-be-finalized Secret Service report that went wrong. The House panel also investigating the second Trump assassination attempt. Earlier this month, Secret Service agents arrested a man with a rifle. So this is of course, multiple times this has happened. Now, one of the co-authors, investigators on this report was Rand Paul, who is an excellent senator. And he says there's absolutely no excuses.
The news from this report is that there was an inexperienced drone agent who'd only gotten 1 hour of informal training on how to operate it. He was trying to put it up, had to call a toll-free number, presumably at the manufacturer, about, hey, how do I run this thing?
So apparently the shooter was smarter than the Secret Service because the shooter ran his drone up about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and that would have been detected and stopped it. But the errors are just, legion. But here's the big errors. Roof left unattended. Nobody did anything about it. But a couple of minutes, 90 minutes before this, they see a suspicious guy with a big backpack, big enough to basically fold up and put a semi-automatic weapon in. They see him with a rangefinder. Enough to stop the proceedings. That alone, if you cannot find him and interview him and you lose him, it's enough to stop the proceedings. But with 3 minutes to go, 5 minutes to go, 6:06, the shooting's at 6:11. At 6:06, people are yelling, man on a roof, man on a roof, pointing to the roof. The police at 6:08 are yelling, man on a roof, man on a roof. They're running with guns drawn to the man on the roof. And at this point, there's a broadcast, man on the roof, to everyone in the control tent. Do they get the president off the stage? Nobody says, take the former president off the stage. Nobody does the one thing you should automatically do when a man is on the roof and you see a potential shooter. They didn't do their job.
The cops didn't confront the shooter. The cops could have fired their weapons. The cops could have done so much. The Secret Service could have done so much. Nobody did anything. What a bunch of cowards, all of these people. Shame on them. The entire system, broken and corrupted. We showed you in a documentary exactly how important it was to have somebody running Overwatch here, questioning why wasn't somebody on the water tower? Why weren't there drones? And, here's why. The assassin would have been easily identified and tracked with modern Overwatch capabilities. Yet drone technology was not used by the Secret Service and was turned down when locals offered. This is why Crooks was hard to follow on the ground and on the rooftop. But even without drones, the shooter could have easily been neutralized by correctly positioned sniper teams. The water tower in Butler is a point of great controversy, not because there was a shooter there, but because there wasn't. Why was there no sniper team positioned as Overwatch on the highest point in the entire county during the Trump rally?
Anybody even get up in that water tower to check lines of sight, angle? Again, look around you guys. It is the highest point on this entire observation point on this entire property. Did anybody even get up and, do a site survey on that water tower?
Our drone footage of the water tower shows what a perfect location this would be for Overwatch. This simple graphic shows how easy it would have been for a sniper positioned on the water tower to have tracked, engaged, and neutralized Crooks before he ever got a shot off on President Trump.